In this video, I'm going to show you how you can skip questions based on the answer to a previous question in your ResearchKit survey in CardinalKit. So for example, I have a pain survey here in my sample app, and when I start it, I get asked whether or not I'm currently having pain. If I say yes, I'll be asked to rate my pain. But if I go back and say no, the survey is going to end. So how do you set that up? Let's take a look at the code. So here we are in the code for our survey. If you're not sure how to set up a survey in ResearchKit in CardinalKit, go check out our other video which explains how to do that. But if you've already been through that video, you should be familiar with this file. So here we have a pain survey, and in our pain survey we have our steps array, which contains 4 steps. The first step being the instructional view, the second being the Boolean question of whether or not we're currently in pain, the third being a pain scale, and the fourth being a summary step. So we've created and added all of our steps to the steps array. Now, in order to be able to skip a step, what we're going to do is create a task, which is of type ORK navigable ordered task. We're going to give that task an identifier, and then we're going to pass in our steps array. Now, we're going to then create a predicate. So you see here ORK result predicate dot predicate for Boolean question result. And basically what this means is we're going to set a condition that our Boolean question is either true or false. We are then going to decide whether we need to skip to another step. So here, our ORK result selector allows us to select the result of that Boolean question, which we pass in the identifier of by doing Boolean question step dot identifier, and then we set the expected answer to be false, meaning if the person is not in pain, then we're going to activate this rule. So now let's create the rule. The rule, we do let rule equals ORK predicate step navigation rule. And what we're going to pass in result predicates and destination step identifiers is a pair of the predicate and the step that we're going to go to if the predicate is matched. So in this case, the predicate is the Boolean question step being false. If it is false, then we want to send the user to the summary step, which we're going to reference using summary step dot identifier. Finally, we're going to take the rule that we created and we're going to set it as a navigation rule on our ORK navigable ordered task. And that's what we're doing here. Task.set navigation rule, and we're going to pass in the rule that we created, and we are going to trigger that rule on the Boolean question step. That is the yes or no question about whether we're having pain. And so we're going to pass in Boolean question step dot identifier to for trigger step identifier. Finally, we're going to return that task. So now when we launch our survey based on our answer to that Boolean question, we may continue on to the pain scale, or we may be skipped over to the summary step.